Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Early break. Anthony in the mailbag says, good morning, guys. Question for the mailbag. If you were trapped in a 10 foot by 10 foot concrete room with one animal, what is the largest animal you could kill with nothing but your bare hands?
I'd like to think I could whip an ostrich.
Get a hold of his neck. He's going to whip him around. He's going to whip him around.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back again with another edition of Outside the Box as we chat Lincoln Stars hockey here on 93.7 The Ticket. Joel Norman joined by the head coach of the Stars, Rocky Russo, and already off to a hot start. Our producer, Harrison, chose to poke the bear to get us started and bring up Ohio State's loss to Oregon last weekend. Rocky, I know that's a topic with fans. You had that last weekend. Coaches, right before coaches' comments that came up, I'll let you get your piece out. And, this is a safe space for a vent session.
I don't know. When do the Huskers play the Buckeyes?
A couple weeks, isn't that?
Let's see. We got Indiana, and then
is that 2 weeks away?
Ohio State, right? It is a couple weeks away here.
It's a couple weeks away. Should be an interesting one.
We'll be at Tri-City that day.
We will. We have a home and home. No, I'm salty. I don't think there's any question about it. I have a lot of gripes about the way the game is managed by the coaching staff. Obviously, they tend to play not to lose instead of play to win when they have to. There's no pressure from your defensive line. You've got a very talented quarterback that clearly can throw it, and instead of trying to pressure him, you're going to allow him 4, 5, 6 seconds every time he drops back. You don't convert fourth downs when you need them. You don't get stops when you need them. I thought the offensive pass interference call was dreadful. I don't understand why 12 men on the field isn't a dead ball foul. It doesn't matter. The officials, they made a terrible call on the offensive pass interference call. The rule is now going to be changed. The NCAA announced today it could be changed as soon as within the week. But hats off to Dan Lanning for preparing for that situation, knowing he could run time off the clock. Clearly a prepared coach versus a coach that I wonder whether he is prepared or not. And I like Ryan Day, actually. And I also know when you look around at a head coach, 6 years might sound like a lot at one university, but it's not. It's a full cycle and a half of recruits.
Just how much college football has changed in that time.
Yeah,
Like, we
and-
haven't even brought that up.
Of course, but you look at Kirby Smart's numbers are not even as good as Ryan Day's in his first 5+ years, and then in his 6th year, he won a championship.
Yeah, that's right.
There's very few coaches. Barry Switzer, there's only a couple coaches that won a national title that early in their head coaching career. Now, the truth of the matter is the standards are high there, absurdly high, and they should be. And the amount of money that they're now spending on the NIL, the recruits that they brought in, like impactful true freshmen that are studs. I mean, the list of wide receivers that have gone through there in the last 8-9 years is unbelievable. I mean, they're number one NFL receiver after number one NFL receiver, and that's not even up for debate. They're littered all over the National Football League. You bring in an all SEC running back, you bring in a really quality veteran quarterback, you return, your 2 high-end defensive ends, you return your stud running back for all intents and purposes. Emeka Ibuka comes back. Like, I can go on and on. Why can't you win that game? Why can't you win the game? I don't care that
The
it's
big
in
win
Oregon.
has evaded them the last few years.
It has. And when they need to play to win, they play not to lose. And that's going to have to be a step that Ryan Day has to take. He has to take more control of his coaching staff. He has to have the final say and be confident with the final say. That's clearly not happening with the defense right now, with the defense coordinator, the defensive lineman having issues. You can't have one coach running schemes up front and another coach running schemes with the other 7 guys and expect it to be cohesive. And that's what's happening there. And because of that, you're getting no offensive or no pressure on the quarterback, no hurried throws, no sacks, no nothing. Fine, go sack the quarterback against Akron all the time. It's great, and they're too talented to lose those games consistently. And I'll end my rant by saying last year or in the past before this year, I'd be devastated because the reality of making the playoff would be really challenging, even if you find your way to a running the table, which they clearly can do. Even though they have some really good opponents on their schedule still, they clearly can run the table. They're going to make the playoff. Now, truth be told, they're going to probably have to go through Oregon and potentially 3 top 10 SEC teams to win the national championship.
Yeah.
That's
most likely.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And you know what? If they do that, then no one's going to remember this rant or that game. None of it's going to matter. They're going to be the national champions, and that'll be the end of it. But I also think there's Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, and then I think there is a drop. And,
absolutely.
You can talk about Penn State. You can talk about Alabama. You can talk about Georgia. Like, Ohio State loses by 1 on the road at night in Oregon. And, the sky is falling. Alabama gets beat by Vanderbilt. Georgia wins 13-12 against Kentucky.
That might have been the wildest weekend of college football probably since 2007.
So
how many number 2s went down that year? 4 of them, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you look at, they won 35-7 last week against Iowa. And everyone's like, what a terrible game. Like their third string D let the touchdown up. That was the only score they gave up. Then you watch Georgia beat Kentucky a couple weeks ago, 13-12.
Barely.
They got beat by Alabama. Alabama gets beat by Vanderbilt, who lost to like Eastern Kentucky. I don't know.
What was the Nick Saban quote? That was the only he had that quote about Vanderbilt a couple of years ago.
The only place that's not
and
tough
the
to play
SEC
in the
that's not
SEC
tough to
is
play.
Vandy.
I love that.
Yeah, well,
it was ironic.
And they played that in
Exactly.
Vandy as they're carrying out the goalpost.
I love that.
So I mean, the reality of it is there's certainly some, and I think the Huskers fans would agree with me. There's some obvious SEC bias, right?
No doubt.
And
especially with Oklahoma and Texas in there.
The Big Ten doesn't get the same love, but it's also the Big Ten's fault. It's Ohio State's fault. Yeah. Win those big games. Win the game against Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. And then we don't have to hear this. Win the game against Oregon, And then you don't, and I don't care that there's shootouts. It was an unbelievable game 2 years ago, right? And CJ Stroud running and doing things like
Great game.
unbelievable game.
Great game.
Comes down to a field goal where he botched the last drive again. Like he botched the last drive again. So it's just one of those things where, the Big Ten has done it to themselves. Obviously, the Huskers are turning it around. Penn State's having a good year, but there needs to be some more teams in the Big Ten that are capable of being in the top 5, top 10. Obviously, now you bring Oregon in and you bring in USC. That's a whole separate conversation that I don't like it at all. It's going to turn into 2 massive conferences, which is kind of silly to me, but it is what it is. It's financially driven. And so, but seeing the Huskers relevant again, seeing Iowa starting to take steps, seeing Wisconsin get back where they need to be, the team up north, like they're terrible now that you can't cheat, and they can't steal signs.
Oh, so you don't have a quarterback either.
Well, that's
Michigan's who he's referring to.
We don't, who, what? But at the end of the day, obviously their coach knew that all that was happening. So he got up and he ran away and he's got his fake pretend national championship ring that they cheated to earn. And so, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. But the Big Ten as a whole needs to rise up, and they're more than capable. The money's there at these at these universities, right? So spend it. Bring the best players in. I don't want to hear about Georgia anymore. I don't want to hear about Alabama anymore. They're great programs, but the top programs in the Big Ten are on the same level.
One team we're not upset about right now is the Lincoln Stars, Rocky. The
Is
way
this
they're
a hockey radio show?
We're gonna a little bit outside the box, little Ohio State football, little Lincoln Stars hockey. 6-1 start to this season for the Lincoln Stars. 4th time in franchise history. 2nd time in your last 3 seasons that you guys have done that as well, winning at least 6 of the first 7. It's just a really fun team to watch right now. And we'd love to get any questions if anyone has any to text in 402-464-5685. And right on cue, I think we have one, Harrison. Is it an Ohio State one? I got to ask.
It's a little bit of both. It's the bridge between the USHL and college football. Who does Rocky Russo despise more, the Omaha Lancers or the Michigan Wolverines?
He's going to say Michigan, isn't he?
It's not even close. Like there's 5 teams in our conference that I despise more than the Omaha Lancers.
We talked about this last weekend, pregame. I asked you about where's Waterloo rank among our rivals, and I agreed with you. You said right now I put them number 1. 3 straight years in the playoffs.
In the playoffs for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time the Lancers were in the playoffs. Like when it
Your first year.
Were they? Yeah, they were in the first year. That was 5 coaches ago or 6. I don't know. But at the end of the day, like give me Waterloo, give me Tri-City, like whatever. No disrespect to them.
Not at all.
They're 40 minutes away. I get it. They travel well when they come to play us, so it increases our fan base. Great. Yeah. No problem. They're not a rival right now. They're not. I'm sorry. And I get fired up to play them, but no more fired up than I do any other. I got a secret. I don't like anybody. I respect them all. I do. I respect the coaches. I respect the organizations. I don't like anybody. There's never going to be a time when I walk out of a game and I'm like, oh, well, we lost that game. I don't mind because I like those guys. No, I want to beat everyone. Every single time we play, I want to win. Drop the puck. Let's go. I want to win. And to me, every night is a rivalry game. Mm-hmm. We're going to play Youngstown this weekend. They're a rival.
I was going to say, you arguably, you might want to win these games more than any other regular season ones.
Is
that fair to say?
Sure. It's the first time I get to coach in that building since 2008. I'm excited about it. There's a lot of reasons why it's important. But it's not about me. And I told the guys that today. It's not about me. It's not about my hometown. It's not like, yeah, I coached in that organization for 4 years. And so I do have some love for it, but that was a long time ago. That
all stops when the game starts.
Yeah. I left there in 2008. It's been almost 16 years since I left there. So, it's, and I haven't had a chance to go back and coach there. So I'm excited to be able to coach in the Covelli Center, and it's but the rivalry thing, like when I got here, it was like, oh, everybody must hate the Lancers, must hate that you can't even look at the black and orange colors. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, give me Waterloo, give me Tri-City. Let's go. Like, give me Sioux City. Like, we've played them in some big series. So give me Fargo, right? Like Fargo conference finals, some really, really fun weekends to be a part of. Like, those are games that have generated rivalries in the last few years, and that's all I know. I don't know the late '90s, early 2000s where that was the bona fide rivalry, and I respect it,
Mhm.
but it's evolved.
It's a different
and
time.
changed.
I mean,
It's
that's a
evolved.
long time ago now.
It is. It's evolved, and it's been next year's the 30th anniversary of the Stars, right? So you're talking about these kids that none of our players were even born when that rivalry was really, really what it is. And now it's evolved into being Waterloo. It's evolved into being Tri-City and Fargo. And I think that's awesome.
Saturday's game felt so much like a playoff contest. It felt like we picked up right where we left off for me, the last 2 years, for you, the last 3 seasons, facing them in the playoffs. It felt just like those. I had several people text me about how they felt like that felt like an old school Lincoln Stars game. I knew people who went, that was their first time ever, maybe going to a Stars game, first time at a hockey game in a while. That was such a fun night to be a part of so early on in the season. I'd imagine you kind of feel the same way now.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we were like the 1980 Russian Red Army team in the first period. Like, we were breaking pucks out, we were touching pucks first, we were killing their breakouts, we were extending our possession, we were tracking and causing turnovers. Like, we were doing everything right. And then we come right out, we score again, and then the glass breaks. And things.
Can we talk about that for a moment?
Sure. I mean, I'm used to it now. It happens once or twice a month here. So it's
when was the last time that happened in a game for you? Because we had one last year, right when warmup started in January. That happened. At least since I've been here in Lincoln, I've never seen that happen.
No,
in a
it
game.
hasn't happened in a game. Now the glass has been knocked out a couple times. Like,
yep.
But it hasn't shattered that way. It shatters every once in a while in practice. Not from anything anybody does wrong, just the puck hits it the right way or whatever.
Enough wear and tear.
And it's glass. It's gonna happen. Now in Amarillo I had it happen, but we had like plexiglass there.
Oh, did you?
And so it wouldn't shatter. The puck would actually just go through it and create a hole. And Amarillo was unique. They would just go throw some duct tape on it and keep playing, or throw a piece of wood or something like that. I remember they drove the Zam through the wall during a game the one time, and they just covered it in duct tape.
That's gritty North American Hockey League.
Yeah,
hockey.
it's God love the people of Amarillo. If you saw some of the folks working in that facility, that you wouldn't be surprised. But it was that happened more frequently there. But it wasn't as big of a deal because the cleanup wasn't the same. Obviously, when the glass shatters the way it did on Saturday, that's significant cleanup. It takes time. And so, I immediately signaled to the refs, like, let's just go to the room. I know how long this takes, and they're going to do it a little faster than they can during the week because there's more hands on deck, but it's still going to take some time. And, it took us a while to kind of get going again. The last half of the second period, last 5-6 minutes, I was kind of just like crossing my fingers, like, let's just get to the intermission because we're not playing very well right now. And then I thought that the first 10 or 12, 13 minutes of the third period was a pretty even game.
Absolutely.
They were getting some chances. We were getting some chances. It wasn't really tipped either direction. We score. The game's over at that point with 4 minutes left. It's 3-0. I know they're going to empty the net pretty quickly.
You didn't know we'd get 6-on-3 action, though.
No, I mean, I didn't care for the trip call on Cade. We then got a power play after that, which is fine. Those kind of wash. Jack clearly knows that he didn't make the best choice when he put the puck in the net after the whistle. If it's like a minute left, do it. I don't care. But with 3+ minutes left, maybe let's just chip it in the corner. And he knows. That's why I can talk about it, because he's such a mature kid. He knows that he made a poor decision in that moment. But he's also the one that scored the third goal. He came out looking out of the side of his ear hole after he did it, because he had to pay the price a little bit for it.
Yeah.
And then obviously the high sticking call was pretty mediocre. And so you go from 3-0 feeling pretty confident to we forgot how to win a faceoff, and we got to lay out block pucks, Jan standing on his head. Like, I loved all of that. And that shows a lot about our character and our willingness to do that in a 3-0 game. And that's signs of really, really great things to come for this group.
I love that on that empty net situation, Jack tucked the puck in. It was clearly offside. They'd already called that. Everyone was aware. And the goal light still went off. Did you see that? I was like, boy, we're just adding insult to injury right now.
That's fine. I like it. Would have been different if something like he was offsides and then he skated a good 40 feet and then he put the puck in the net.
He knew what he was doing. He knew. I love Jack, but he knew what he was doing.
You know what? And listen, I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of okay with it. Like, again, going back to the fact that that's a rivalry and you're sticking it to your rival a little bit. So I respect it. I just wish, if there's 40 seconds left or a minute left and we know that things are in hand, fine. But man, killing a 6-on-3 for like I said in post game felt like 11 minutes. It was probably a good 90 seconds at least. And we weathered it. We did it. We couldn't win a face-off to save our life during that situation, so we couldn't get a clear. So it was like figure it out, boys. Figure it out.
Absolutely.
We got ourselves in this situation. Let's get ourselves out of it.
We did find a way and got you on that shutout, as you mentioned. 4-3 win over Des Moines last Friday, 3-0 over Waterloo the next day last Saturday. You talk about you liking a little bit of that attitude that Picard shows in a moment like that. To me, I think attitude is something that we look back a season ago, it's kind of missing at times. Having a little bit of that swagger that was warranted. This group now, you bring a lot of these guys back, you add in some other guys to the mix, there is a swagger to this group, to say the least.
Well, we want to stay humble, but we want to be really confident. And the best athletes are capable of kind of towing that line between confidence and arrogance. We don't want to get arrogant. You get arrogant, that presents a whole different set of issues and complacency and all those things. We don't want that. We want humble, grateful, and confident. And when you get that mix, you get a very motivated athlete that's self-disciplined, that's driving themselves on a daily basis. They're pushing each other and their teammates. And so, I think that's where we're at right now. And again, we're 7 games in. We're gonna go through a tough stretch at some point. Even Fargo, that had a historic season last year, had some tough times from time to time. And it's a 62 game season. Every night's a grind because every opponent is more than capable of giving you a game and beating you. And I look at Youngstown, for instance. They're a fantastic hockey club. They're technically in last place in the Eastern Conference right now.
At 500 too.
At 500.
At 500.
And so, but they're really good. I've watched a few of their games, and they played a really good Cedar Rapids team tight last weekend. They split with them on the road. Like they've got
two very different games, by the way.
Oh yeah,
very different.
I mean, they've got skill, they've got grit. They've already got close to 200 penalty minutes as a team, so like they've got the toughness to go with it. And so, this is certainly not a weekend that should be anything but recognition of how hard it's going to be to win on the road.
And business at hand too. A pair of wins this weekend matches the 2015-16 Stars for the second best start in franchise history. A win Friday or Saturday gives the Stars their best start in your 4 years with the team. It's fun to get off to a great start like this. And I remember we talked about this 2 years ago. It's not just fun. It's important because
all the points matter.
All the points matter. The dog days of the season come eventually. So you really want to build that strong momentum to start the season as well.
Yeah. I always have a hard time justifying, we'll do this or try that or whatever. Maybe it costs us a win here or there. Well, in 2 of the last 3 seasons, we've missed having a bye by a point or 2.
Yeah.
And so, the points now matter. The more you can stack up, the more you can get in the bank early, the better off you're going to be. And so, I want to win every single game. I think the start's great. The historical element of it, we'll look back one day and be able to appreciate it. I just want to make sure that we're continuing to get better every day and week after week. And the guys are continuing to buy in and they're invested and they're grateful for the opportunity to be here. And they feel like they're served by our staff and our organization to help them become the best player and people that they can be. And, and if we can win enough games early in the season that we put ourselves in good position late in the season. That's the most important thing.
2 games on the road for the Stars this weekend, taking on Youngstown. But don't forget, you can actually join lots of your other friends who might be coming to games, friends and family members. Watch the Stars versus the Phantoms on Friday at Buffalo Wild Wings right here in downtown Lincoln. We'll be having a watch party that night. Should be a lot of fun to watch that one. Rocky, we appreciate the time here and really looking forward to these games this weekend.
Thanks, Joel.
We'll take a quick break. More to come in just a moment. It's Outside the Box here on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
If you're not advertising your business on your vehicle, you're missing out on a lot of potential clients, and it's time to change that. Automotive Solutions excels in vinyl wraps and company IDs. They offer BG services with free warranties available, and they service all cars and diesel trucks too. They also service fleets, and if you push snow in the winter, get ahead now with your vehicles. Don't forget, ticket listeners receive a service discount on preventative maintenance. Call Automotive Solutions for an appointment at 531-249-5600 and stop by at 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith.
ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine and it will be breezy and cool with an afternoon high around 56. Tonight, clear skies and it will be cold, the low around 29. And tomorrow, frost likely in the morning and sunny and breezy for today. We'll see a high around 64. I'm meteorologist Kyle Becker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with a Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back again here on 93.7 The Ticket, chatting Lincoln Stars hockey with Outside the Box. The Stars are on the road this weekend, taking on the Youngstown Phantoms Friday and Saturday. Games at 6 o'clock Central Time on Friday, 5 o'clock Central Time on Saturday. Don't forget, though, a couple Fridays from now, it's First Responders Night at the Icebox. The next time that Lincoln is home, that's coming up on October the 25th. And we're offering ticket discounts for all of our first responders. Just show your badge at the gate, or you can actually email ahead of time, Connor, CONNOR, at LincolnStars.com. That's the next time we'll be home. We're looking to come home with a couple more victories. Two special guests joining us now, Michael Sandrick and Gio DeJulian with us. Guys, both of you a pair of Cornell commits. Happy to have you on here at the same time. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty well.
Doing good.
First time for both of you on radio, I heard, right?
Yeah, first time being live on a talk show.
Pretty
or
exciting.
Any side of that, yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Nothing too crazy. It's just the 6 o'clock hour. Sun's already setting. So, but lots to talk about with you guys from this past weekend. Two fun wins. They were both tight games, and obviously one was a 3-0 win. I mean, you could have been confused if that was a 1-goal game, is what it felt like throughout it. But two fun challenges that you guys were able to pass this weekend. Let's talk about Friday's game first. Gio, you had the game-winning goal in that one, a 4-3 contest. A lot of fun to open up the weekend with that. I think going in, a lot of people were looking ahead to Waterloo, but Friday turned out to be a really exciting game. Just tell me about what, stood out about that night for you the most and how you guys pulled out 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously fun to get a win, especially on Friday to start the weekend off. Coming from the weekend before when we only had one game. So it's nice to start the weekend off with a win, and it was a fun way to end it for sure. Exciting.
Tell me the story. Tell everyone the story that you told me after Friday's game about your line mates that day. A unique situation, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we didn't practice together all week. I was with Pelly, but not Lefty. So kind of a surprise, but it worked out, and we ended up putting 2 up that game. So
yeah, both you and Lefty scoring huge goals because Lefty tied it. You got the game winner. Certainly a fun one there. And then Saturday might have outdone Friday. As fun as that was, it's handy you were a big part of that. Literally right in the middle of the game with that scrap, bringing the crowd to its feet. Someone asked me earlier in the day what I thought was going to happen. I'm not kidding. I said, I think Michael Sandrick gets in a fight tonight. That was my guess. I was like, you know what? I got a feeling this is the energy guy for us. He's going to get in one. We haven't had a true fight yet. I know the guys know that. Were you thinking going into that game at all, hey, I'm going to get in a fight tonight, or did it just happen?
Yeah, so funny you say that. So pretty much going up, not just this weekend, but there's always been the joke that not just me, but some of the guys, like, there's got to be a fight, got to get the guys going. And then obviously the glass breaks, and we score early and then the glass breaks. So we had momentum, and then so then we got to go to the locker room, and our momentum kind of goes downhill. And I'm like, what better time to do it to try to get, especially the fans. The fans honestly like it more than the guys in a way. And I'm like, we got to get the fans and the bench back into it some way. So BMO in the first period, actually, he gets clean hit, but a little bit away from the boards and kind of goes down awkwardly. And then that guy, he was running his mouth all until the second period, and we ended up going on the ice together and saw him off the face off. I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So hit him kind of high in the corner. So just went at it. And then after that, he kind of quieted down saying I beat him, but it was definitely fun. I mean, the adrenaline kind of goes, so you don't feel much, but after definitely getting the crowd and talking to the boys after, they said on the bench, it definitely helped them, not in terms of playing, but brought back a little energy, especially in the building. So that was fun.
It was a good tilt too. I mean, you got a couple good punches in immediately. He fought back a little bit there, but then you get the eventual takedown.
Oh yeah. I was looking back. I looked at the lineup charts. I think that's got to be one of the first USHL fights, both kids over 200 pounds. I mean,
wow,
it was a heavyweight fight.
That's a good point. Actually, I'd have to look at that now. That's a good point, because when you guys were going toe to toe, I was like, okay, this is a pretty similar stature and size type of battle.
Yeah.
So you knew you were in for a challenge in a way.
I'm 6'1", he's 6 foot, and he's a bigger guy. So I'm a bigger guy, and I mean, pick on someone your own size. I feel like I did.
I remember you looked like you finished up with a fight. You get the takedown, you get up, and he kind of was reaching over at you as you were starting to pump up the crowd. I probably would have had about the same reaction of you, where it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I'm coming right back at you then.
I think obviously you said I'm a big energy guy. I think the biggest thing was to make sure the bench and the fans feel that. And the guy wanted more, even though I just pummeled him. So I wasn't worried about him at that point. I was just more worried about making sure the guys felt the same energy I did. So it was interesting in that terms.
And I love that you went over to the penalty box, and we knew you weren't going to be there long, obviously, with where we were in the period. And they were going to go to the locker, but you're slamming on the glass in there.
Yeah, funny you say that. I mean, that was obviously my first fight this year, and I didn't really know that it would, like, I didn't know how much time was in the period. And then obviously you have to you have 10 minutes. So if it's under 10 minutes the period, you're going to the locker room anyways. I didn't even care what time it was. I saw the penalty box door open, saw those fans behind. I mean, our fans are great.
Yeah.
Every single game they're there, they're show out. Those guys behind looked pretty rowdy, so might as well give them the same treatment, and they loved it. So,
and I love what our guys, in a case like that, when you go to the box, because you know what it does? It offers you that little ovation afterwards.
Yeah.
Where you go to the box, and then the refs are like, no, you're going to the locker room. And then the fans are like, okay, he's coming back out one more time.
And,
so it's a strategic thing.
Yeah.
I always encourage that.
And I think it was great. I mean, obviously both our helmets fell off, and what better way to show your hair off than that, skating down the center of the ice.
It worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
It worked out really well. Gio, you were on the bench at the time of that. What was that reaction? How fired up did that make you guys?
I mean, I think I was right next to Dash, actually, and I turned to him and I was like, that's one of the better fights I've ever seen. We were all fired up, and I think it got the boys going again, which was great. And I love the celebration too. Unreal. We were probably more fired up for that than the fight. So all of it was unreal.
It was great. It was the perfect storm, I felt like, because like you said, things kind of slowed down a little bit after that stoppage. What was that like, going to the locker room when the glass is out? What are you guys doing to stay locked in that moment? I'll start with you, Sandy.
So it was unfortunate because we're just obviously in between each period, you go to the room anyways. And there was about, I don't know the exact time, but there's 16 minutes left in the period. So we just were in the room 4 minutes ago. So it's almost like we got another intermission. So it's not what your body's used to in that sense. And it's kind of an awkward, you don't know how long you're going to be in the room. You don't know exactly what's going on the ice. So it's more just make sure your mind stays in the game, not to let the distraction happen. I mean, obviously having the glass, it's kind of funny, but make sure that doesn't bother you, and make sure as you come out for, I guess, the second half of the second period, you have the same as we started the second period. So that was the biggest thing.
It's certainly a strange situation, Gio. I always wonder, I was like, because you have that little, you go down to the locker room, you kind of settle, then you kind of fire back up as you're getting ready for the next period. Was that something where it was just like, okay, now what? This was way sooner than expected heading back here.
Yeah, I mean, again, you just got to stay locked in, kind of. I think I had like a banana, had a little snack, some water, Gatorade. Just got to keep the legs ready, I guess. I don't even know what you do at that point, but you got to keep your mind in the right place. And we knew we had momentum at that time, so we were just trying our best to keep that going in the locker room any way we could. And we came back out and obviously lost a little bit, but I think we did a pretty good job.
Picked it up, certainly.
Yeah.
It worked out eventually. Chatting with Gio DeJulian and Michael Sandrock here on 93.7 The Ticket. It is Outside the Box as we chat Lincoln Stars hockey. Guys, you mean we brought up the food. You mentioned that in the break there. I always love to ask guys, what's like a pregame meal you really like? I know on home game days, you can kind of get into more of a routine than the road because we're getting the food obviously brought to the hotel there. But home game day, you guys are in the same billet house. Are you making something for yourself, or your billets making you a specific meal? What's your game day routine like in terms of food?
Yeah, so obviously we're living in the same house, and our billets are awesome, and they obviously take care of us well. And we're kind of basic. I mean, most hockey players are basic, like to keep it the same light. And we usually just do well. So far, obviously 4-0 at home, you can't switch much up. We've been doing rotisserie chicken and some pasta with light
Nice.
sauce. I mean, there's no need to switch it up yet. So
Not yet, but maybe if there's a loss in there, maybe you change it up.
yeah,
possibly.
So we can expect that next Friday then.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one though too. I mean, that is kind of the classic
Yeah.
hockey dish, some type of chicken,
Yeah.
pasta. Hard to really go wrong with it.
Yeah, I was up in Rochester last year, and that's pretty much on the road. We basically ate that the same. So at home, I just kept it the same, and ever since then, it's just been the same.
The last couple of years, I started doing with a couple of our assistants. Mike, who used to be here in Art, obviously you guys know. I would power rank some of the places where we get the meals from before the game. Oh, I kind of like their chicken parm a little bit more, or the post game spot. We like that one a little more than the others. So obviously, with how many places we go to, that's certainly something that comes up over the course of the year. Long road trip this week, heading to Youngstown, heading out tomorrow night. This is going to be a nice opportunity for us heading on the road. We haven't had really crazy road trips since the Fall Classic in a lot of ways, though. Tell me about how that one to start the season really helped to bring this team together for you guys who are both newcomers to this group.
Yeah, I think obviously it's an exciting thing. Obviously, you know some of the boys before, but you don't know them truly. And I think obviously 18 hours on the road in a steel tube on a highway, you obviously get to know them. And then going to bed in bunk beds on top of each other, you kind of get to know them a little bit more. And then obviously we didn't win both games, but I think overall the trip as a team, I mean, it's the first 2 games of the season. You win them, you lose them. It's more about building it up for the rest of the season. So I think that was more important than the actual game.
Absolutely. I mean, the first time game action really that mattered as a team like that. Gio, was that kind of similar for you where it was like, hey, we've got our feet under us now?
Yeah. And I think the bus ride was fun. We sang a couple songs, played cards for about 4 hours. I think me and Sandy, Weber and Massa and Schlainer, I think. I think we were sitting there for about 4 hours playing cards. So
for fans who don't know, the sleeper buses, they're very unique with how we're able to fit as many people in there as we are. Where each row, so to speak, it's 3 beds high. Now, obviously, the most desired ones are the ones in the middle. Were you guys able to get that, or did you end up on the top bunk or the bottom bunk?
Yeah, so I actually got a middle one, but being a bigger guy, no matter where I was going, it was going to be tough to get in there.
Yeah.
And I will say, waking up, I did hit my head, but other than that, it was a pretty good sleep, actually.
Okay. What about you, Gio?
yeah, I was on the top.
I don't like that. I've been there. I get claustrophobic.
Yeah, and I also felt like I was going to fall off every 5 minutes, but because there's no guard there, right? And my screen was broken, so I was just straight to the bottom if I fell.
Oh no.
But no, it was comfortable. I mean, took a couple of melatonin.
That usually helps.
Yeah,
I've got
definitely.
that packed for this road trip.
Yeah.
I've got that, the earplugs, the eye covering and everything.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Sometimes I sleep in the little co-pilot seat up front.
Yeah.
I call it that one.
Yep.
You just lean back in that, feet on the dash.
Yep.
Great spot right there. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll chat maybe more a little bit about sleeper buses and Lincoln Stars hockey in just a moment. Back with more after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting wefixbasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Tailored Life is your headquarters for all things fall in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, mums, and more. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
If you're not advertising your business on your vehicle, you're missing out on a lot of potential clients, and it's time to change that. Automotive Solutions excels in vinyl wraps and company IDs. They offer BG services with free warranties available, and they service all cars and diesel trucks too. They also service fleets, and if you push snow in the winter, get ahead now with your vehicles. Don't forget, ticket listeners receive a service discount on preventative maintenance. Call Automotive Solutions for an appointment at 531-249-5600 and stop by at 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up.
Back again here on Outside the Box, chatting Lincoln Stars hockey on 93.7 The Ticket. Joel Norman with you alongside Stars forwards Michael Sandrick and Gio DeJulian. Don't forget, Stars fans, the team's on the road this weekend, but we're having our first watch party of the season at Buffalo Wild Wings on Friday night. It's a 6 p.m. start Central Time. Game gets started at 7 o'clock Eastern, where the Stars will be at as they are in Youngstown, Ohio, to take on the Phantoms. Guys, chatting a little bit about, we were just talking a lot about the travel a moment ago. Michael, I'll ask you the question you just asked me a moment ago. When you have a weekend of travel, do you like being home? If you have to have one game on the road and one game at home, which night would you prefer to be at home versus on the road, Friday or Saturday?
Yeah, so I just asked you that, but I'm going to be honest, I haven't put much thought into it. And I haven't yet experienced that. I don't know when exactly our first this year is going to be, but I think I'll agree with you, and I think Saturday at home would be better. Get the travel when you're still fresh from the week, get it almost out of the way, and then you get to come home. You get a home game, you get the good food, you get your rituals going, and you're at home, and you can end the weekend off on a good note at home.
I think there's something about when you have a Friday game at home, especially you win that game, you got all this energy, and then it's like, oh boy, we got to go on the road tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh shoot, we've got to find a way to
Yeah.
bring that together again.
Yeah.
And plus, crowds on Saturdays usually are a little bigger than Friday anyway. So I really like that. Gio, do you kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, I agree. I think Saturday at home would be better. I think Tri-City's our first.
That's the
weekend.
first like home and home that we're really doing, because they always do this. You always get a few more of those cross conference games while it's still warm, but we're heading into that part of the schedule slowly where, it really feels like hockey weather. But that's next weekend. 2 on the road at Youngstown this week. I mean, for you guys, this is your first taste of the USHL. Tell me about what you guys like about this league so far. What's part of, and how much of this has lived up to maybe to expectations? Start with you, Sandy.
Yeah, I think you hear all about it as obviously growing up, everyone plays, or the hockey players play hockey, and you hear quote unquote best junior league, tier 1, all the guys biggest things, obviously the alumni, you hear all the guys that have been through this league, where they're playing now. And I think that's the biggest thing you see in that way, that you're playing against D1 commits, NHL draft picks day in and day out, especially at practice. I mean, we have 2 draft picks on our team and only 4 kids not committed. So I think that's the biggest thing I see in terms of you get to practice against the best every day and you get to feel it. And then it almost makes, especially with Rocky's practices, you almost makes the games feel easier, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest thing.
How about you, Gio? How's the USHL lived up to your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was an adjustment for sure, but the speed, it's really fun to play at that pace, right? And in front of, especially here in Lincoln, I love our crowd so far. We got to get away from the volleyball games, get some more people
we're
there.
Getting there.
Yeah. But yeah, the crowds are awesome. The new rinks, always cool to go to new cities. Being from the Northeast, haven't been out here much. But no, I think the adjustment, which now is kind of fun, is the speed of the game and practices.
I was going to say, for you guys, what's that like, that first couple times you're playing in front of these large crowds? I mean, Sioux Falls, their home opener, they're opening up the second deck. I mean, I've been in the league 3 years. I've never seen them open the second deck. So that was cool for me. I can only imagine how it felt for you guys.
Yeah, I think, it was the first time anyone's ever skated on that rink. So in warmups, you kind of didn't feel the way you wanted to feel, but you look up and you see pretty much an NHL arena.
Because they had just put the ice in that week, hadn't they?
They didn't even get a morning skate on it, apparently.
Oh, gosh.
So the ice wasn't great. It was a little warm since the building's obviously bigger. So
October hockey.
Yeah, you don't feel the same. And but then you realize it's their home opener, and obviously we played Green Bay and we won 9-1, but we had such great fun in winning that if you can spoil someone else's home opener, that's just got to suck for them, especially starting the season like that.
And the cool thing too, Gio, is, I mean, you guys get that chance this week. Youngstown's finally playing its first home game this Friday. I would imagine it's going to be kind of a similar energy for you guys as what you brought into Sioux Falls a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that, but now I do. So, yeah, it should be cool. I mean, I don't really think about that.
I'm just here to fuel the fire, guys.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to fuel the fire right now. I had a little bit.
I mean, it doesn't really cross my mind too much, but it's obviously you want to win every game. So.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Now, I have to ask you guys about this. Rocky was asking me who was coming on after him tonight, and I said, okay, we're having Sandy and Gio on.
He goes, that'd be fun. They're kind of like, he said, they live together, same build house. He said, those guys are like a married couple talking about each other. And again, you're smiling already. So I'm guessing you've been told that at some point.
Oh, yeah. So obviously, you've mentioned my builds before, but they're great. And we obviously have family dinner. And one of our biggest things is how much we just make fun of each other. And I'd say about a week ago, we got called a married couple. And we gave them the question, who's the girl and who's the boy? And they gave me the wife. And they gave me the wife because I just complain about everything and I make sure everything's perfect. And Gio just kind of takes it.
Yeah.
In that terms of that relationship, but we love it.
Yeah, he's definitely the wife. I mean, he kind of just like talks all day, all night, and I just sit there and I listen. I know my place, at times, but I give it back when I need to,
Last question for you guys. You're both going to Cornell and you're living in the same Ballot house. How cool is that? I mean, you guys, it's a small league. You're getting, people already in this league on other teams. You get to know other guys. How cool is it that already, though, you guys have someone else really well before you head off to college once you do?
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing throughout this whole thing is we also obviously have Alex Pelletier on our team.
That's right.
He doesn't live with us, but we're with him, the rink every day, all that stuff. So building those relationships, as you can tell on a team, are very important. So if we can build them now, which I feel like we have since we're married, apparently. I think
I'm not seeing a ring yet. That's how they missed it.
I don't have the money yet, but actually he'd be paying for it. So I'm good on that point. But Cornell, I mean, the coaches, we tell each other we're living together and they love it. So
it's great.
I think that's the biggest thing.
I would imagine that's really cool too for you, Gio.
Yeah.
I mean, I joked with Rocky a couple weeks ago about, I said, hey, when are you going to roll out the Cornell line on the line chart? When are we going to get Pelly, Gio, and Sandy all together? He did it the next day.
He did.
So it's got to be really
smartest line in the USHL, I guess.
That's what he said too. Yeah, he said the GPA is through the roof with these guys.
Well, I don't know about that, but
we try. On paper looks good. I don't know about our.
Yeah, no.
As long as you get it. That's the biggest thing. As long as you get it. Well, guys, thank you for the time here. Looking forward to this weekend with the Youngstown. Let's go get 4 points.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Gio DeJulian and Michael Sandrook. I'm Joel Norman, and it's been another edition of Outside the Box. We'll be back next Tuesday. Stars on the road this weekend, and as we mentioned, the watch party on Friday at Buffalo Wild Wings. Thanks for tuning in to Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket.